What's best for the world is what's best for each of us, what's best for me and what's best for you. And if we're all doing that at the same time, the world is becoming a happier, healthier place. So why are you afraid of celebrating yourself? Breaking news, local girl who suffers from IBS and has a small YouTube channel is filming a video with a coffee in her hand instead of a seltzie. I'm actually not really in a funny mood today. I'm just in a super chill mood, but I couldn't help myself but call out the fact that I am drinking a coffee. So before I dive into the video, I did just want to take a moment and say thank you to whoever ends up watching this video. Whether you're somebody who has been here a while and consistently shows up as one of my views, or you're somebody who's just going to pop up and see this, I'm just very grateful for the fact that I have a place where I can put these thoughts and share these ideas and these feelings and make my experience of living feel so not unique to me. And to share that is something that's very special to me, and it means a lot. And it's funny because it actually does tie quite well into the topic of today's video, which is learning how to celebrate yourself. Because for as much of a culture that we live in today, where it's all kind of about, like social media and presenting your best life and seeming like you're super happy all the time, and this highlight reel kind of phenomenon of only sharing the best and brightest of who we are and how we feel, I feel like we really do struggle on a deep level, or maybe on a more personal level, with celebrating ourselves, with sharing the totality of us, even in a good way. Like, even when we want to be celebrated and we want to seem happy, I feel like it's really hard for the most part for people to do that and feel comfortable doing that, which doesn't make really sense at all. Like, the way that we can kind of, like, we're cool with acting like everything is great to people who don't know us or to relative strangers, but within our own like social circles and close friend groups, we don't want to be like, hey, I'm having an amazing day. It's kind of weird if you think about it. But anyway, I don't want to get too far off on a tangent here. I do have notes today and I want to talk through them, and let's just dive into it. A few weeks ago, I turned 25. On June 5th, I turned 25. And on June 5th, I threw myself a birthday party. And this was something that I think I felt comfortable doing, really just because I had thrown my apartment warming party back in March. So I had one celebration, like one self-celebration, one milestone of life celebration under my belt already. But I got this idea from my friend Cole, who every year for his birthday in October throws a party. And back in October of 2021, he was throwing a house party before he moved out of his place and for his birthday, and we were just chatting about it. I was like, this is so cool. You've got so many people who are coming together, and I don't really feel like I have that many friends in my life, and it's just so amazing. I'm so glad that I get to at least witness this celebration for you. And he told me, he's like, you know what? As you get older, you realize something, right? Like, as you transition into adulthood, everyone gets busy, and life gets busy, and you can kind of very easily get swept up into this just day-to-dayness of trying to keep your head afloat with life and work and bills and keeping up with friends and hobbies and like all of this stuff. And he's like, at the end of the day, you realize that everyone's busy. People, it's not that they don't love you and it's not that they don't care about you, but everyone's just trying to do their best in their own life, in their own way. And if you want to have a party, you got to tell people that you want to throw a party. No one's going to just remember that. No one's going to just throw you a surprise. If you want to celebrate your life, you have to celebrate it yourself. And people want to celebrate you. They just need to feel like someone is going to take over the reins and put in the work to get it done. I threw a party. I told people about it weeks in advance. I said it was for my birthday. I made a menu. I had everything there that I wanted, only invited people who I really wanted to be there and to celebrate me and this milestone in my life, because it was intentional and it wasn't something that I was just kind of throwing caution to the wind. And I had a truly amazing time. Everyone that was there had a truly amazing time. And I realized that there's fundamentally nothing wrong with celebrating yourself. You deserve to celebrate yourself. We all deserve to celebrate ourselves, whether it's something like a birthday, which is in many ways you could argue just something that happens. It's not an accomplishment to make it around the sun, although in this day and age, honestly, it kind of is. But I just deserved to feel good, and I wanted to feel good. And so I took my friend Cole's advice or concept and I ran with it, and it couldn't have been better. Now, as much fun as I had on that day, I don't want to spend this video recapping what I did on my birthday. I really want to talk about the principles of celebrating yourself, of celebrating a life, and why you do just need to be the type of person who's going to throw your own party, whether that's literal or metaphorical. Like, you got to be the one. If you want to celebrate, if you want to throw down, you want to have a fiesta, if you want to do something to celebrate something in your life, you have to be the one to organize it. And I think that's how it should be. This is why I think it should be that way. And if you're struggling with the concept of self-celebration, or you don't feel like you deserve to, this is the reason for this video, is to show you all of the reasons why you deserve to celebrate yourself. First of all, my friends love me. I know that my friends love me. It's something that we can forget a lot of the time when we're just in the daily throes of life, that people love you and they care for you and they want to know that you're doing well and they want to be there for you. My friends love me, but they can't read my mind. And so if I knew that I wanted to throw a birthday party this year, which is something that's unique, I've never done that before, I needed to communicate that it was important to me that we celebrate that day and we come together and we organize around that day. And this is where I think the principles that are applicable to self-celebration can really expand and go far beyond this very concept, and they go to everything else in life, which is the fact that having needs and wants is amazing. It's great, it's wonderful, it's necessary, but it's not sufficient. Because if you have these urges or these desires or these feelings and you just let them live in your head, the rest of the world's not going to know about it. If I knew that I wanted to throw a birthday, but I didn't organize it and I didn't communicate that and I didn't open my throat chakra and say, I need this today, my friends who love me and care for me very much so would have had no idea. And they wouldn't have rallied around me and they wouldn't have organized on that day. So having all of these needs and wants and desires and urges in your life is so necessary, and it's so healthy and it's so beautiful and wonderful. But you need to still communicate that to people, because if it just lives in your head, no one's going to know and nothing's going to happen. And this is what I mean by these principles extend far beyond just self-celebration, because communication is the underpinning thing that goes into what makes everything else around us work right. You know what I mean? Setting boundaries, setting a standard of treatment with your friends or with your family or with a significant other or a partner or at work, setting your wants in life, saying that you have certain hobbies that matter to you, all of these different variables or examples, setting whatever those things are is necessary, but it's not sufficient, because you still have to uphold them, and no one can do that work but you. No one can uphold a boundary but you. No one can communicate your wants but you. No one can communicate your standard of treatment and point out when it's not being met but you. And that's how it should be, because you are the primary agent of your life, of your health, of your well-being, of your standard of care. It shouldn't be in anybody else's camp. It should be yours. That's the power and the responsibility of freedom. It falls to you. you're not going to avoid being hurt. Someone is going to walk up against you and say the wrong thing or cross a boundary or cross the standard. You might still get hurt, but it's the holding your standard that protects you. And that's the reason that we have to communicate, because it's communicating what you need and want that prevents you from being hurt unnecessarily. You can create a system in your life where when you feel like a need or a want or whatever it is not being met, and your voice, your ability to communicate and effectuate that to the people around you, that's what becomes the guiding principle. That's what becomes the impetus, the stimulus, this sort of new variable or piece of information that people can learn to rely on that will course correct things. Because you see, if you don't communicate what you want and what you need, no one will know. And I think very often in life, people are not truly malicious. A lot of times people do things that don't work for you. Someone's flaky, someone's not communicative, somebody's whatever, all of these different cases. And you need to be the one to say, hey, it doesn't make me feel good when you do that. Or, hey, I really want to throw a birthday party. Will you be there? It means a lot to me if you're free and you can come. But if not, no worries. I love you anyway. It's up to you. And your life can blossom if you just learn how to say what you want. And when you feel like things aren't being met, knowing how to say that too. And I understand that that's hard. Most things in life are hard. They're not easy. I never was somebody who could communicate what I wanted, especially as a survivor of trauma, and anybody who's experienced certain traumas in life, or even other things in life. You know, sometimes we have an early experience where we feel like we're not heard or listened to, or it's not safe to do that. And so utilizing the voice can become extremely hard as we age. It's hard to think like I deserve to be celebrated and I want to be celebrated. But let me tell you a few things on that. On this, I'm going to actually root back to self-celebration, because I know I kind of went just right to why communication is so important. But this is why self-celebration is sick and amazing. Number one, when we struggle to communicate that we have wants and we struggle to feel like we deserve to be celebrated or we deserve to be in the spotlight, which is hard, right? That's kind of awkward to be like, hey, I want to have a party and I want everybody to gather around and celebrate me. That's hard. Even if you don't have trauma, I'm sure that's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, right? But the problem with that is that everyone loves having a fun thing to do. When I set that birthday party and I started to tell everybody about it, my friends rallied around me. They gathered around me. My friends who are really into cooking were like, what can I make for you? Here's this new dip that I want to bring for you. I know that you're not into dairy, so I'm going to make, my friend literally made a separate chili for me without sour cream on the top, because she's like, I know that dairy doesn't sit well for you, so here is your portion of chili, right? My friend didn't have to will herself muster this energy to show up and make something for me. She loves cooking and she loves celebrating, just as everybody else in my life who came that day loves celebrating. And if you're not even somebody who likes to party or wants to go out and do that kind of thing, well, you know what will make you want to do that very well? If you love somebody who does want to celebrate in that way. Because at the end of the day, if it's my birthday, it's not about anybody else, it's about me. And that's safe. That's healthy. It's healthy to have one day a year where you're like, it's about me. I think that's fine. I think that's great. I think that's something that we all deserve. But that's the point, right? Everyone loves to have a good time. And when you get into adulthood and everyone gets super busy and it's super hard to kind of just bring a whole group of people who you love in one room together, you gotta rally harder than probably ever before, when you're in grade school and you're a young kid and everyone's kind of got the same schedule and in the same place, it's a lot easier. But my friends are all over the place. I think one of my closest friends is about to move to Florida, and Cole's in medical school and he's in the Caribbean and my friends are in California. And so like to be able to like rally your troops gets really hard, and you have to organize this in many ways. And so you can't really avoid it. It's just the nature of life, but everyone loves to have a reason to come together. So be that reason, you know what I mean? Don't self-shame yourself and be like, oh, I don't deserve to have a good time or to celebrate. Everybody wants a reason to celebrate. You're just giving them a reason. If seeing people and hanging out with people is important to you, yeah, sure, like it would be nice to have friends who are more proactive and communicative and say, hey, you know, Ari, it's been a while since we've gotten together. Do you want to hang out? But at the end of the day, like, everyone is busy. And if they're on my mind, I'm not going to sacrifice my happiness or my joy or my standards that are important to me because I've set them, because I'm just hoping or praying that someone else is going to do that work for me. Not only will it just not fall from the sky, that builds resentment in friend groups and certain relational dynamics that's just not healthy. It's just not what I want to do anymore. And so it's not going to just happen. You have to rally, you have to organize, and you have to communicate. And that's okay. It's okay to have to do those things. That's healthy. That's fine. And the last thing that I'll say on this, if you struggle with the concept of self-celebration and you don't feel like you deserve to be celebrated, well, hell, let me tell you something. Wouldn't the healthiest version of this world look like a world where everybody is walking around making themselves feel good, right? This is a concept that came to me a few days ago. I was listening to this podcast and this girl was like, because they were talking about how they struggle to communicate what they need or want from a partner because they feel like, oh, that's just kind of, you know, it calls a lot of attention, it calls a lot of spotlight. Wouldn't the safest world be a world where everybody is telling you how they feel? So if I'm trying to make myself be healthy and happy, and you're trying to make yourself be healthy and happy, like, if we're doing that, like, isn't the healthiest world a world where we're all striving to be our best for ourselves? Because if we're all being our best for ourselves, then we are making the world a better place, because we're going to show up in every other arena in life happier and being more true to our authentic selves and our true authentic wants and needs and urges. Maintaining boundaries, setting boundaries and maintaining boundaries is key to a healthy and happy world. You're not going against a healthy and happy world by wanting to be celebrated and by communicating that. You're actually moving the world forward. You are elevating the global consciousness by trying to be supportive of yourself. This is not against what's best for the world. What's best for the world is what's best for each of us. What's best for me and what's best for you. And if we're all doing that at the same time, the world is becoming a happier, healthier place. So why are you afraid of celebrating yourself? So yeah, that's the point of this video. Self-celebration is key to a happy and healthy life. When you get older, things aren't just going to happen for you. You have to set all of the ideas and urges and boundaries and things that you want in your life, and then you have to do the work of upholding them. And you have to rally the troops, and you have to organize the troops, but rest assured, people want to celebrate you. People want to have a reason to come together and celebrate life and party and be in a group with lovely people and amazing food and good laughter and beautiful music. And that doesn't just happen. We have to make the beauty in the world happen sometimes. So make the beauty happen. Live a beautiful life and be happy. You deserve to be. You are the main agent of your life. The responsibility of living a beautiful life falls to you. And while sometimes that's hard and messy and complicated and frustrating and fatiguing, it also means that you get to bear the fruit of whatever the choices are that you're making in life. And so when you put in the energy and the work to make life feel good and beautiful, you will be receiving a beautiful and wonderful life in return. And you deserve that. So celebrate yourself. Love you. Talk to you next week. Bye. Also, learn more, dream more, be more. I love this shirt. This is my pump cover shirt at the gym, and I'm very cozy and very happy. Whenever I wear shirts and things like this with like nice words or concepts or anything like that, like I always feel better. I always feel protected. Food for thought. See you next week.